From failed medicals, fax machine errors, and even volcanic eruptions, these are 10 football transfers that shockingly collapsed. And sometimes, the guys at the front desk can be so ridiculous.
I believe you've got some breaking news for us.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I understand there was an agreement done between QPR and West Brom over the transfer of Peter Odemwingie at around £3 million just a short time ago.
See, it's one thing to express interest in a player, and it's another to embarrass him on national TV. So QPR was well on its way to relegation from the Premier League in January 2013, and all they needed was a game changer. Desperate for a striker, the West London side had their eyes set on the man they felt was perfect for the job, Peter Odemwingie. The Nigeria international had an impressive portfolio, scoring 25 goals in his first 2 seasons for West Brom. But to make the transfer a reality, QPR had to offload Junior Hoilett in the opposite direction. When the deal collapsed, Odemwingie had already bid farewell to his teammates and made a 125-mile trip to London from the Midlands, hoping to complete the transfer. He was left wallowing in his car outside Loftus Road.
Queen's Park Rangers ahead of a potential move from West Bromwich Albion. There are issues that need ironing out with this deal. We told you a little bit earlier about some of the problems that have arisen with this deal on deadline day. There are 3 hours, 45 minutes for the two clubs to...
Damn, to think they didn't even let him through the gate. My man Peter must have been so pissed. But not as pissed as Dybala, who got turned down for making a ridiculous request. So, Tottenham was so close to completing a stunning deal for Juventus star Paulo Dybala in the summer of 2019. Shortly after, the English side had reached the Champions League final. Spurs wanted him, Juve was happy to sell him, and everything was gonna be fine, right? But not until Dybala demanded a whopping £350,000 a week salary, making him one of the highest earners in the league. And Spurs chairman Daniel Levy wasn't going to foot that amount on a player who had just 5 Serie A goals in the previous season. Man, Dybala's got some balls to pull that stunt. But the next collapse transfer took more than balls, cause there's no way you knew that Chelsea was accused of frustrating Ziyech's transfer to PSG. Chelsea star Hakim Ziyech was on the verge of a deadline day move to PSG.
Ziyech's move to PSG collapsed at the last minute.
But the loan move fell through at the 11th hour. Chelsea officials reportedly sent the wrong documents not once, not twice, but 3 times. And when the completed paperwork was eventually filed, shortly after 11 PM English time, the French deadline had elapsed, with PSG failing with an appeal to salvage the deal. Ziyech had to return to England and Chelsea. While it may sound like bullying, I think it's just crazy. Now that's crazy. But for number 7, we gotta talk about a crazier transfer that collapsed for the weirdest reasons. See, David De Gea's transfer from United to Real Madrid was all set to happen in August 2015, with Keylor Navas moving in the opposite direction. It was transfer deadline day, and United was yet to send in the paperwork, till it was discovered that the team's fax machine had broken. In their statement, Madrid confirmed their frustration. In short, Real Madrid have done everything they could at all times for the deal to take place. Man, United always finds a way of ruining the game. But for number 6, we have got to talk about the player that got turned down for a totally different reason. See, Loic Remy had agreed to join Liverpool in July 2014 and was just awaiting a routine medical to finalise the deal. Not too far into the medical, Liverpool discovered an issue that saw them pull out of the deal, leaving the French forward stuck at Championship outfit QPR. But Chelsea didn't take long to swoop in and sign Remy. He would later win his first Premier League and League Cup during his first season with Chelsea. Damn, that's legendary. But so is number 5, cause I bet you didn't know that Robinho got snapped up in a rather bizarre transfer story. So Robinho was supposed to move to Chelsea. But before talks were finalised, the team prematurely started selling replica shirts with Robinho's name on them. Well, Real Madrid got pissed and immediately fell out with Chelsea. They didn't like them selling shirts with Robinho's name on them before the deal had even been done. So in 2008, Manchester City took advantage of Sheikh Mansour's takeover to secure the talented attacker, with a late £32.5 million bid to snap up the Brazilian. Well, some say Chelsea dodged a bullet in missing out on Robinho, as he never quite lived up to expectations. But the same can't be said of the next player, whose deal collapsed because of a volcanic eruption. See, back in 2010, Blackburn Rovers came close to signing an unknown Polish striker called Lewandowski from Lech Poznan. But a volcanic eruption in Iceland prevented the deal from happening. The ash from the volcano caused flights across Europe to be cancelled, halting plans for the Polish striker's move to the English side. Lewandowski instead moved to Germany, banging club goals and winning Bundesliga titles. Blackburn, on the other hand, were relegated from the Premier League, and they've not returned ever since. In the end, Lewandowski had no regrets. It changed my life. If I had gone to Blackburn, maybe I would have stayed there. Well, Lewandowski was plain lucky. But what happened at number 3 will drive you nuts. See, when rumours had it that Cristiano Ronaldo was making his way back to England, pundits predicted that Manchester City was out to sign the Portuguese striker, as Pep Guardiola's team was close to securing the forward from Juventus as an alternative to Harry Kane. United intervened at the 11th hour to re-sign their former player. Despite the initial flirtation with Manchester City, Ronaldo ultimately sealed a switch back to Old Trafford. But Ronaldo wasn't the only superstar City was on the verge of signing. Cause at number 2, Kaká almost made a £100 million move to City in January 2009, until something happened. Ricardo Kaká and Manchester City had made all the necessary negotiations, and all the finer details had been discussed. All they needed was his final word, but Kaká shocked the team, ultimately deciding that he could not go on with it. The Brazilian would later join Madrid for a world record £56 million 6 months later. But that's nothing compared to what Kylian Mbappe got for his contract with PSG. For Real Madrid and its fans, it was not about whether the move would happen, it was just a matter of when it would happen. Signing Mbappe was seen as a done deal in the Spanish capital, and the only doubts when it came to the French-born were about whether he would flank Karim Benzema on the left or right side of the attack. But in a message that left him heartbroken, Mbappe explained to Madrid president Florentino Perez that his desired transfer to the Spanish Giants was not possible. He had ultimately chosen to renew with PSG, and there was no going back on his decision. Reports had it that Mbappe was keeping it a secret that his decision was influenced by political pressure. Speaking about secrets, I bet you didn't know that Haaland spent millions to literally be the iciest player in the Premier League. But that's the least of what you didn't know about the Norwegian goal machine. I know you want to know more, so click on this video right here, pal.